In each of the past several seasons, the Eastern Conference has produced multiple teams with a legitimate chance to win an NBA championship, and this upcoming 2023 season appears to be no different, with, in my opinion, 2 to 3 legitimate title contenders coming out of the Eastern Conference, along with a few dark horse candidates. So today, I would like to discuss these teams and which one I feel truly has the best chance to win an NBA title. Before discussing the teams I believe to be the true contenders of the East, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge two very real dark horse candidates, being the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat. Getting the Heat out of the way first, many people may see it disrespectful to only have this team as a dark horse and not a legitimate contender, but when I look at this roster, all I can think is old and underwhelming. I'm sorry, but Jimmy Butler, despite how incredible he just played in the last postseason, does not fill me with confidence when I see his age, his injury history, and his regular season statistics. How many years can we expect this man to put on a LeBron-like performance and turn everything up to another level when he gets to the postseason? I just am not filled with confidence in his ability to do that. Meanwhile, Kyle Lowry continues to age, and the rest of the roster seems to have stagnated. This is a team filled with what 1 or 2 years ago would have been seen as promising young talent, but these days, I just don't know if they've hit their ceiling yet. Bam Adebayo was once thought to be the next superstar big man in the league and hasn't really improved since 2020, and Tyler Hero didn't take the big jump many people expected from him in the past season. Yes, these are very good young players, and I'm not even saying they're not going to get better, but when I look at this overall roster, I don't see a contending level team. I see a tough second round playoff out, maybe even an Eastern Conference Finals appearance if Jimmy Butler goes berserk again, but I can't honestly call this team a real contender when I look at their age and I look at the talent of the players. Maybe this will come back to bite me in the regular season. They'll go off, Hero will look like an all-star, Bam will take another step, and Jimmy Butler will hold off Father Time for another year, but as of right now, I don't believe this team to be a real contender. The Atlanta Hawks, meanwhile, are almost the inverse of the Miami Heat. While I think Miami had their best chances in both last season and the 2020 season, the Atlanta Hawks still appear to be a year or two away, in my eyes. The addition of DeJounte Murray is going to be huge for this roster, which has desperately needed some perimeter defense and creation next to Trae Young. But while he will be a massive boost for a team I am certain will make the playoffs next year and may even contend for something as high as a 3rd or 4th seed, I can't call this team a legitimate title threat just yet. I think they're going to need at least a season to gel together and continue to let the players grow and improve. Clint Capella had a down season, and I think his backup in Okongwu could be a really good starting center for this team in a few years. DeAndre Hunter continues to improve. If John Collins stays, he's a very good player. Guys like Kevin Huerter are great pieces for this team, and of course Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are both all-star caliber players. But as good as this team could be next year, I still think they're going to need a little more time before I'm ready to put them in the legitimate contender tier. Now, with the dark horses out of the way, let's talk about the big three in the Eastern Conference, and for many of you, this is really just a big two in the Bucks and the Celtics. These two teams went 7 games in the conference playoffs last year, and in the opinion of many, including myself, had Chris Middleton been healthy, this would have been a relatively easy 5-game series for the Milwaukee Bucks, and there is a very good chance that they would have repeated as NBA champions once again. This would have been an incredible accomplishment for Giannis, and after the disappointing loss in the playoffs last year, where he played incredible, I fully expect this team to come back with a vengeance and go for the title that they believe they rightfully deserved in the previous season, and I don't see any reason that they couldn't go and win it once again. Giannis is still probably not at his peak. He continues to improve every year. Chris Middleton, assuming he comes back 100%, should be an all-star candidate once again. Drew Holiday is getting older, but I don't expect him to fall off just yet. He's been a great player for this team. They managed to bring back Bobby Portis, keeping the best backup center in the league off the bench, and being able to run these massive lineups with him, Lopez, and Giannis all together when needed. And Brook Lopez, despite getting older, continues to be a very important piece for this team and their defensive identity. I think it is absolutely possible for the Bucks to go out next season, win another 60 games, and make it right back to the NBA Finals, which they should believe they could have done last year had they been healthy. With that said, I don't think it's fair to count out the Boston Celtics either. Even though I do fully believe that the Bucks would have beaten them if healthy last season, the Celtics are not just going to sit around and not make any improvements after losing to the Warriors last year. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to continue to get better, along with multiple other young players on the team like Robert Williams. They have gotten, for almost nothing, and this makes me incredibly upset, both Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari, to one of whom come off the bench and add shooting to a team that desperately needs shooting, and the other one play the starting point guard role that Marcus Smart has been semi-successfully fulfilling for this team. And you know what, I take that back. He has been successfully filling it. I don't like Marcus Smart, but he really has done a good job as this team's point guard, but Malcolm Brogdon is a clear upgrade over him as the team's point guard and main facilitator, which means the Boston Celtics, while giving up absolutely nothing that made them so great last year, have significantly improved their only two weaknesses in both playmaking and shooting. Now, we've got to wait and see how the fit is with the team, specifically for Brogdon. He seems to be a little bit of a locker room issue ever since leaving the Milwaukee Bucks, so we'll see how he gets along with the rest of the team, if he's happy with his role there and whatever. But on paper, the team that just made the NBA Finals has made significant improvements without making any kind of sacrifices to their roster. So the Boston Celtics have a very real chance of once again going back to the finals and maybe this time actually winning the championship. And at this point you're probably thinking, alright Mike, you said there might be a third team in here. Who on earth could really challenge either of these two teams? And my answer is the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I did not put them in the same category as the Bucks and as the Celtics because I feel like the Sixers have a lot more questions about them than either of those two teams. Is James Harden going to be healthy? Is he going to look like he did back in Houston or back in his first year in Brooklyn, more realistically? And that is something I just don't have the answer to. The offseason signs have been promising. He looks in shape, he's been motivated to work, he's talking with the team all the time, and the team as a whole looks really good. Joel Embiid, we know what a beast he is as long as he can stay healthy, knock on wood. Tyrese Maxey is a rising young star. I would not be surprised if he makes the All-Star team next season, and Daryl Morey has done an excellent job making this team better in the offseason. Signing DeAnthony Melton was a huge grab for the Sixers. They got him on a pretty small contract, and he is a very good defensive backup guard who can also hit threes. PJ Tucker, I think he's a little overrated, but he was the man the team wanted. He does bring some of that hustle and intense energy this team could really use at times. And Daniel House is a guy who maybe ends up not doing anything, but has a chance to be a decent role player as well. The big question comes down to Harden. He is going to make or break this team, and while I am not yet confident that he is going to look like his star self once again, if this dude can just be 80 to 90% of what he was in his first year in Brooklyn, and he really does look in shape, he's looking good, if he can do that, and Embiid can stay healthy, and these are big asks, but the Sixers could very easily be in the same tier as the Bucks and the Celtics. They have improved their depth. They have very good defense all around on this team. They have three very good offensive players if James Harden gets his crap together, not to mention their fourth man, Tobias Harris, who is a very solid player in his own right. this could be a legitimate title contender. I know I'm biased because it's my team, but this could very realistically be a legitimate title contender. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they're actually going to be as good as they could be until I see James Harden play. So for now, the Sixers are a maybe. They're kind of in an in-between tier between a true dark horse and a true clear title contender in the East. But I did want to include them in here because I really believe if you've got 3 All-Stars on the team, if James Harden's looking like himself, Tyrese Maxey takes another leap, and Joel Embiid, of course, continues to put up MVP level production with the added depth that Daryl Morey got, there's no reason the Philadelphia 76ers could not win the title next season. So if everything goes right, they are my pick to be the best in the East. But if not, I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks, and because I don't know for the Sixers right now, they're an iffy, that means my pick for this video is the Milwaukee Bucks to make the NBA Finals once again. I know I just talked up the Boston Celtics, but despite the moves they made, I don't fully trust this team's chemistry, especially now with the Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant rumors. I wonder if he's going to be disgruntled, if he's going to have some issues with his role in the team now. I just think that's a locker room that hasn't proven to be the best over the last several seasons, and I don't think throwing in a potential Kevin Durant rumor for Smart and Jaylen Brown is going to help anything out there. So I think they may potentially have some issues. Milwaukee, meanwhile, I trust their stability. I trust Giannis Antetokounmpo to be, at the very least, in the running for the best player on the entire planet, and I think they have a very real chance to make the NBA Finals once again, and maybe even win another championship. Thank you all for watching.